Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Ambitious Gems and I'm doing a different style of video. This time I'm going to be talking about Eric Holder and Nipsey Hussle's synastry chart. Just to give you a little idea, I'm only speaking of the negatives here. So basically I pulled up their chart and I just wanted to see what was like going on between just their feelings towards each other. So what I did see, and I had to do a video because I seen they have 8 good aspects between them and 21 bad aspects, and then 4 in the middle. I've seen bad charts before, of course, but I've never seen 21 bad. Like, it's way more bad than good, which is crazy. It's just like, yeah, no wonder he would murder, there would be a murder between these two. Just It's just a very bad chart. So what I did see is that it has war written all over it. Okay, so Eric, his is in Scorpio, and it squares Nipsey's moon, Mars, Mercury, and Jupiter in Leo. So with that being said, I see lots of friction. There's a lot of tension between them. In terms of speaking, they probably cut each other off when they were talking to each other because supposedly they knew each other from back then. Like, I think they're from the same block or from the same gang or something like that. So they are definitely associates. But I know between the two, they were not feeling each other's energy. Maybe somebody that's a friend of yours, and like you guys say hi to each other, but you don't really talk to each other like that because something in your spirit just doesn't take that person. That's how both of them would feel towards each other. So yeah, so I see that them cutting each other off when they're speaking or speaking over each other, just not really listening. Um, I can also see them getting into physical fights. It probably never got to that level yet, I'm not sure, but they definitely had the capability within their chart with all those squares. And just tons of disagreement or maybe even arguments or hurting each other's feelings or just not being able to understand each other. Also, the hurting of egos, that's definitely very relevant. And the funny thing with those squares is they're very tight. They're all less than 3 degrees. So that shows that it was definitely very strong, that energy that they had towards each other. Also, it's funny to note that both of them have the capacity to want to be a boss or a leader or in control of the situation, especially Eric. I seen that Eric is more aggressive towards Nipsey, and I think he kind of overlooks how Nipsey would feel, kind of like a bulldozer. Like, and it's funny because hearing one of the stories of when he shot Nipsey and then he ended up going back for more. That's what I seen there with the Mars square moon. Eric's Mars squaring Nipsey's moon. It's just like he doesn't give a shit about Nipsey's feelings. It's like, oh, you're dying? Well, make me kill you even more. Like, that's basically the energy that I got from him. Also, Eric with oh, so this is the reason why they have so many squares towards each other, because Nipsey has a stellium in Leo and Eric has a stellium in Scorpio. So those two signs are squaring each other. So the fact that they have multiple planets in those signs and it's just multiple squaring up the place, yeah, that's why it's like this. So Eric, as a Scorpio stellium, he would definitely, on the negative side, because that's what we're speaking about, he would definitely be super passionate and vengeful and sensitive. So they're both ready for war, but Eric would be more calculative in his warring ability, while Nipsey would probably be more loud and powerful, maybe physically, but then Eric would have the brain to plan it out how he's going to do it all secretively, Scorpio style. So Eric would just be planning it out, plotting out, seeing when is going to be the perfect time and make sure that there's no chance of coming back. Both of them would be very prideful. And when I think about, Nipsey in the in the spiritual realm, I feel like there would still be some anger knowing that Eric of all people took him out, because I think him sensing the energy that him and Eric already had, because also seeing that Nipsey was very in tune with his spirituality, I'm sure had an idea that Eric was not a good person. I think also Eric has some type of mental illness. He doesn't seem like he's all there. But I think he would be very disappointed that a guy like him took um, him out. So also then I noticed that Eric's Pluto squares Nipsey's Mercury, Mars, Moon, Sun, and Jupiter. So, with that being said, they're definitely both very stubborn and set in their ways and loyal to whoever it is that is their, group of friends or family or whatever. Um, and they both have that tendency to have that protector warrior hat on. But Nipsey didn't know how deep Eric's hate was for him, so he wasn't protecting himself as much as he should. Otherwise, it would have been a good battle between the two of them if it was just head on. But Nipsey kind of got blindsided by it, which Eric obviously did on purpose. Um, Also, I noted that Eric is the type that wants to be in control of the situation, and I feel like maybe Nipsey said something that he shouldn't have said, that kind of hurt his feelings, or maybe even no, because that would, yeah. So yeah, I feel like with with Nipsey's Mercury squaring Eric's Pluto, his Mercury squaring Eric's Mars, that just shows that Nipsey's communication style or something that he said has definitely offended Eric sometime, some point in their life. And it just causes misunderstanding and miscommunication, even just negative thoughts about each other, just not looking at each other in the greatest light. It goes both ways, but Eric feels it more than Nipsey would. And so with that being said, they definitely both did not trust each other. So probably even in Eric's head, he thought that I need to take him out before he takes me out, because I know I don't like his vibe, and he probably doesn't like my vibe. So one of us is gonna have to do it one day, I guess. I guess that was his thought. I'm not sure, but Nipsey definitely didn't trust um, Eric. I can see, but yeah. So definitely hurtful words and saying things that just probably cut the person really deep, and maybe it's unintentionally, but that definitely shows in their chart with all these squares. Also, I see that Eric has his Pluto squared Nipsey's sun, which indicates to me that he definitely wanted to have some type of control or power over Nipsey. And I think killing him gave him that satisfaction, like almost godlike. Like, I kind of have control that I wanted over your life. I didn't want, with a Pluto squaring someone's sun, the sun person, which would be Nipsey in this case, their light is just too blinding for the Pluto person. That makes the Pluto person very jealous of whatever it is, like, their popularity or all things Sun and Leo related, just all of the attention that they get. That makes the Pluto person very jealous. So if anyone thought that Eric was jealous of Nipsey, that is not up for question, 100%. Yeah, so I found Nipsey was just too much for him. He was just too much of a bright light, and he wanted to take him out. Um, there was definitely a lot of hate from Eric's side, and I seen that they have Pluto square Jupiter as well. Eric's Pluto squaring Nipsey's Jupiter, so that shows that they have different views and different perspectives that don't align with each other. Probably times when Nipsey's talking or speaking some truth, Eric is thinking in his head like, "Shut up! Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is like, he just doesn't agree with him and just thinks he's probably full of air, talks too much or something. Um, Also, something about Nipsey was unpredictable to Eric that he didn't like. Like, maybe Nipsey wasn't consistent with how he made Eric feel, because Eric's moon was squaring Nipsey's Uranus. So I sense some inconsistency and unpredictability. And maybe one day when he sees Eric, it was just like cool. Like, for example, in this picture, it looks like they're at some place. Maybe it was some event. Eric is there, ready to see him, and then Nipsey's just like, welcoming him. But in the picture, Eric seems just very serious, and it's just really weird because if you're coming to see a celebrity, wouldn't you be smiling? Wouldn't you be happy? It looked very beef like. Even the guy that is behind Eric that came with him in the blue over there, he's just looking very serious at Eric, like kind of like just ready to pop off if there's a need. And then Nipsey's security guard over there with the black hat is just looking at Eric very, very seriously, like, is this guy gonna do something? I don't trust him. That's the energy that they had between each other. And Nipsey in this picture looks like, I'm not even up for that. Like, I'm not even here. What's up? Like, how are you? Like, I'm not even trying to have a bad vibe. So maybe that's one of Nipsey's, I don't know, vibes towards Eric. And then on another day, it might be like what I heard the day of the shooting was, you can't be around here because Eric was supposedly a known snitch. So then one day it's just like, what's up? Keep the peace. And then another day it's just like, hey, you gotta move. So that I think that's where I'm getting that moon square Uranus energy from. And then I see that they have Venus square Venus, so, and to me that's indicating the different groups of friends that they have, or activities or styles or interests. Like, they definitely weren't compatible. Like, how much times do I have to explain this? And then also I see that Eric has Saturn square Nipsey's Venus. And usually that Saturn person tends to be very mean to the Venus person and wants to teach them a lesson. And I think that was indicated in the murder, especially even in the video, the way he killed him just so ruthlessly. Eric, with all of that Scorpio in his chart, definitely did not like rejection. And I feel that Nipsey, whether he did it intentionally or not, he made Eric feel less than. They have Sun square Sun, and that definitely is something that ruins the day. And it's just aligned with everything else that I've already stated. So pretty much that explains all of their squares. That's not even me talking about their oppositions. Hopefully that has made you kind of understand the negative in their relationship with each other. So if you like this video, make sure to like it, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Did you look up their chart? Did this give you any information that you didn't know? Or did you even expect all of this information? To me, like, this is pretty expected. If somebody told me this, I wouldn't be shocked at all just by seeing the way that murder went down. But yeah, that's it. Peace, guys.